This is the Paul McGUIRE Report. I'm Paul McGUIRE. When I say you're plugged into the hive mind or the world brain, there won't be any electrical wires. You will have what's called a computer to brain or satellite computer to brain interface, where via satellite using 5G, 6G, or whatever, satellites can telepathically read your mind. You can communicate to the world brain, the hive mind, or whatever via satellite, via Wi-Fi, and you can have forms of mental telepathy. A totalitarian government will be able to read your mind by reading the electromagnetic frequencies being produced in your mind, and it will be so sophisticated, and we're right around the corner from this materializing. In fact, a lot of what I'm telling you, if you bother to read my book, Conquering the Matrix, okay, which deals with scientific mind control and this entire thing, if you bother to read A Prophecy of the Future of America, Volume 1 and 2, you can get discounts on these books by ordering a book bundle right now at paulmcguire.us. Or if you read Mass Awakening and these other books that have book bundle discounts right now, you will discover that there's no cords. It's wireless 5G, 6G, 10G transmission. A totalitarian government, it'll be so far beyond the communist Chinese totalitarian credit score surveillance system, where they have all, the communist Chinese have all of their people being monitored under a gigantic mass surveillance umbrella, and everything they do, good or bad, is either registered as positive points where they will be rewarded, or it'll go down as negative points. And it's all on videotape. I've seen the videotapes. You can see the videotapes of the poor communist Chinese people walking around communist China, and what you'll see is, it's like a video game. You'll see the actual person in mind walking around, crossing a street, but if they violate any of the Communist Party's rules, like if they litter, if they curse, if they have a Bible, or any number of things, they're under mass surveillance. There's cameras everywhere, including satellite cameras. That's recorded, and they get a negative score. Now, this is very, very important, because this is just the beginning of their, what Brzezinski, one of the fathers of the New World Order and a high-level member of many U.S. government presidents, Brzezinski talked about the rule of nations and the rule of planet Earth by a technocratic elite that will use psychotronic weapons on the people. So what happens is, if people get a negative score, what the communist Chinese citizens have said, it is more cruel, it's more horrifying, it's more brutal to be monitored by electronic mass surveillance and then to be punished for it than it is to be thrown into a concentration camp or a prison camp. Because you see, if you get a negative communist social credit score, you can't buy, you can't get a job, you can't get an apartment, you can't get a house, you can't get food. It's hell on earth. Hell on earth. You want to know a depiction of what hell on earth will be like? Think of the back of a US dollar. And think for a moment about the relationship between the Antichrist, the head of the one world government, and the false prophet, who is the originator of the global economic system and the one world religion. And then think that everything you do is under electronic surveillance via satellite. They can read your mind, they can see pictures in your mind, they can read your nightmares and dreams. Don't make the mistake of underestimating how sophisticated and how far along we are, or how far along mankind is in the development and implementation of what I call like sci-fi technologies. We are so far down the road in the development and implementation of sci-fi technologies it would make your head spin. So when Brzezinski wrote his book called Between Two Ages in 1976, on the cover of his book he was advocating openly for a technocratic elite which would function as a technological dictatorship and mass surveillance everywhere you go. Mass surveillance by a technocratic elite. And then, right on the cover of his book, Brzezinski, he was the right-hand man to Rockefeller. He helped start the United Nations. He was the co-founder of the Trilateral Commission. And he was advocating, he was promoting that the ideal state for mankind would be a technocratic dictatorship. And what he was saying was that this technocratic dictatorship, because of its mental superiority, because of its genetic superiority, has the power to use what Brzezinski called psychotronic weapons on the population. What are psychotronic weapons? Psychotronic weapons on the population are high-tech science fiction-like weapons that most people don't understand, that these technologies and these weapons already exist. They're already operational. They're not coming in the future. They've been here since the 1940s. And what these technocratic weapons, what these psychotronic weapons can do, and I'm just going to give you a few short examples, is they give any dictatorship or totalitarian regime the ability to be all-powerful. So, for example, let's just take 5G. Now, if you want to understand this in a fast-moving, easy style, then I highly recommend that you get my book, which I have to find here in the studio, The Greatest Battle for the Hearts and Minds in the History of the World. And I cover many pages in that book, which you can get at a discount at paulmcguire.us. I talk about the real truth that's not known about 5G, 6G technology. And what that is, let's remember, and I explain this in a very easy to read, easy to understand style so you can spread it around to your friends. the U.S. military, the military in Communist Russia, the military in Communist China, and other nations, most of the big superpowers have science fiction weapon militaries in which they can use EMF weapons, or electromagnetic frequency weapons. And these weapons weaponize phone signals like 5G, 6G, and 10G. Now, 5G is being promoted in a big way right now because it allegedly gives you faster uploads and downloads and no dropouts. But if we look at 5G like an engineer or a scientist does, 5G is the same range of electromagnetic frequency that high-powered EMF frequency weapons by the military use. Okay, this is important to understand. I explain it. I open it up in an easy to understand manner, but you got to get the basics. Perhaps you've seen on the internet or other areas, you'll see military vehicles roll into a place where people are demonstrating and rioting, etc., etc. And then the military from like an armored jeep will rotate this thin black screen painted in dark army green, and it's about 1 to 2 inches thick, and it looks like a flat screen TV. And you can rotate it and aim it to a particular, well, you rotate it electronically, like a video game, and it has a sight on it. And so what you do, any military can aim this EMF, electromagnetic frequency weapon, at 1 or 2 people in a crowd or more. So if you're trying to disperse a crowd that's rioting and breaking buildings or doing worse, all you have to do is aim your EMF weapon and aim it towards the people that are causing the trouble, and you press a button just like in a video game, and you send out a burst of a 5G signal. 5G is what the telephones are all using. The cell phones are all using that now. They're bragging about it. What you have to understand is 5G is not only a powerful frequency range for cell phone communication, laptop communication, satellite to cell phone communication, but 5G is the exact same frequency range of what they call silent sound weapons or EMF weapons. So the same frequency range that is floating through your house and in your neighborhood through the 5G cell towers and your cell phone, that exact same frequency range is the same frequency range that the military uses, and when people are, all they're doing is turning up the power just a little bit. So 5G cell phone EMF and weaponized 5G EMF is just a matter of turning up the dial just a wee bit, just increasing the power just a wee bit with a button or a dial. And once you turn up the power of 5G just a wee bit by a button or a dial, then you've weaponized that 5G signal. And if you're using it for so-called non-lethal crowd dispersion, the people who are hit with the 5G signal, they feel like their bodies have been set on fire, and the sensation physically is their bodies are burning and they're screaming and yelling with such incredible pain because they feel like their bodies have been dumped in gasoline and somebody lit them on fire. And so that you can see the whole thing play out on the video, and then these people, within a second, are running for their lives or diving in a lake or something. Because just being hit by that 5G beam, once it's been turned into a lethal or a non-lethal mode, non-lethal mode makes you feel like you're burning so bad you got to run for your life. You tweak that baby up just a little bit and it goes into the lethal mode, and you can kill somebody in a nanosecond with a heart attack or something. So you have to understand that the same frequency that's used in promoting 5G cell phone technology, 5G satellite to nanochip communications, your brain computer to satellite interfaces, is using common 5G cell phone technology, just turned up a wee bit. You see how advanced we are in weaponizing 5G technology? See, this weaponry is already here. Now let's just take a few other. Now I explain all of this in my book of Prophecy of the Future of America, Volume 1 or 2. I explain it in Conquering the Matrix, okay, and how it can be used for mind control. I explain it in Mass Awakening, The Day the Dollar Died, and you can get all of these books right now at a special discount, a bulk bundle discount by going to paulmcguire.us. That's paulmcguire.us. Or you can get a great video documentary called American Mind Wars, The Coming Crisis Event, and there's a great discount price on that at paulmcguire.us. And you just download that into your computer or laptop. You can play it for your friends, yourself, or whatever. And in a video documentary style, it explains the whole, and shows you the whole thing. So this is happening now. So in 1976, Brzezinski, who was like a super genius and a globalist, what he was doing with Rockefeller and the others, he was running around the world, laying down the architecture for this new world order, and he was laying down the architecture for a new world order, a one world government, a one world religion, and a one world economic system, a cashless society, a nanochip implant, a microchip implant, wireless brain to computer communication, wireless brain to satellite communication, in which you can read someone's mind, see the pictures, hear the conversations in their mind, and not only that, you can embed in their mind specific sentences, commands, words, and pictures. That's how far along we are with this sci-fi technology. We're here. Now, why this is important is because right now, as we speak, you're listening to me, Paul McGuire, and this prophetic emergency alert is being watched and listened to all over the world, all over planet Earth. I get emails and letters from people all over the world. And everybody wants to know, where are we going as a society? Because now we have a turning point, what is called the Fourth Industrial Revolution. And I want to give you a word of warning. The so-called intellectuals, let's call them pseudo-intellectuals, the money men, the international bankers, the 1% elite, the people who are really the rulers of this new world order. They love to create fancy, technological, intellectual sounding words that can be disseminated in the general public, and it does two things. On one hand, it discloses to you just how dangerous, evil, and weaponized they are. But on the same token, they disseminate this information right out in front of your face, and it dilutes people's alarm. It dilutes their concern. It dilutes their being vigilant. Because you see, when you hear about this, even from people like me, when you hear about this, there is the potential danger that you receiving this kind of intelligence, scientific intelligence, technological intelligence, the potential danger in you receiving this is that used in the hands of experts in psyops, psychological operations. And by the way, one of the main areas of study that I've devoted my life to has been in the specific area of psyops or psychological operations. So when you disseminate this high-tech verbiage, experts in psyops can use the dissemination of high-tech verbiage to, in a sense, inoculate you. So why does God want his people? I'm going to be blunt with you. We're in the last days. Nobody knows the exact time period when Christ is coming. But we know from reading Bible prophecy, from studying the signs of the times, from reading the entire book of Revelation. You see, you and I know that we're in the last days. You and I know that the signs of the times are being fulfilled. And it is causing us to be ready and to be prepared for the Lord's return. You and I, because we love the truth of God's Word, and we know the truth sets us free, are not in danger of being inoculated with Satan's vaccine that gives you just a little itsy-bitsy microscopic piece of the truth, which serves to desensitize you to the big truths going all around you. Why? Because Jesus Christ told us, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. We are commanded by God to stay awake and stay alert and keep our eyes looking on the horizon at a great distance. And we're supposed to be keeping our eyes on the horizon, looking out there, and we're checking out to see if we see that the enemy of God's people are coming at us from a distance, and are they armed?